Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct. For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed.
The cheetah, capable of accelerating faster than most sports cars, reaches top speed across the golden savanna in pursuit of its prey.
For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission.
As the sun dips below the horizon, the hyena pack moves as one, a testament to their complex social bonds.
When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct. Moving with calculated precision through the tall savanna grass, the lionesses demonstrate the art of the silent hunt. For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed.
Hidden amongst the acacia branches, the leopard surveys the plains below, its golden eyes fixed on its prey.
For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission. With eyes sharper than any other predator, this eagle misses nothing as it scans the golden landscape below. When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct. For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed. For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission. The African plains at sunset. A time when the spotted hyena, often misunderstood.
With eyes sharper than any other raptor, the harpy eagle waits patiently, the golden light catching the deadly precision of its gaze.
When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct. For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed.
Reaching incredible speeds, the cheetah sprints across the golden grassland, a powerful display of natural predatory instinct.
For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission.
Here, in the golden hour, the crocodile is almost invisible, conserving energy for the perfect moment to strike.
With the setting sun casting long shadows, the pack demonstrates the sophisticated teamwork crucial for survival on the open plains. When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct. Under the golden light of the savannah, the lionesses stalk their prey. Their movements are synchronized, a ballet of silent predators. For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed.
High in the acacia, the leopard demonstrates the pinnacle of stealth. Every muscle is tensed, awaiting the perfect moment.
For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission.
As the sun sets on the savannah, the spotted hyena pack begins its nightly patrol. Teamwork is essential for these skilled predators.
When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct.
Moving almost as one, the lionesses utilize the tall grass.
For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed.
Coiled tension, hidden amongst the thorns. The male leopard watches, motionless, waiting for its unsuspecting prey below. For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission. As the sun dips below the horizon, the spotted hyena pack begins its nightly patrol. Their communication is subtle yet highly effective.
When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct. As the sun dips low, the lionesses begin their approach. This silent coordination is vital. For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed.
Hidden among the branches, the leopard relies on stealth. With eyes locked on its target, it prepares for the perfect moment to strike.
For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission. When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct.
Under the guidance of the lead lioness, the pride coordinates their movements with silent precision, a lesson in survival passed down through generations. For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed. A master of camouflage, the leopard surveys the ground below. This silent strategy is key to its survival in the unforgiving African wilderness.
For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission. The buffalo know the danger. They must protect the youngest members of the herd from the ever-present threat of the lions. When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct. For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed.
The cheetah, the fastest land animal, accelerates across the golden savanna, reaching speeds of up to 110 kilometers per hour in pursuit of its prey. High in the sausage tree, the leopard surveys its kingdom. Perfectly still, it embodies the silent ambush strategy, a predator poised to strike.
For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission.
When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct. For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed. The cheetah, the fastest land animal, accelerates across the savanna in pursuit of its prey. The leopard, perfectly camouflaged, waits for the precise moment. In the African wilderness, patience is the ultimate weapon.
For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission. As the sun dips below the horizon, the pack begins its nightly patrol across the golden. When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct.
In the heart of the savanna, the hunt begins. The lionesses move as one, silent and deadly, their cubs protected just behind them.
For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed.
With eyes fixed on the unsuspecting prey below, the leopard holds its position, a master of the silent ambush.
For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission. As the sun dips below the horizon, the spotted hyena pack moves as one. When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct. For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed.
High in the acacia, the leopard executes its silent ambush strategy, waiting for the perfect moment to strike.
For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission. As the sun dips below the horizon, the hyena matriarch leads her clan in a synchronous patrol.
The stellar sea eagle, a formidable predator of the Pacific coast, surveys its domain with unparalleled intensity.
When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct. With silent, measured steps, the lionesses stalk their prey, their movements perfectly coordinated.
For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed.
For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission. The golden hour belongs to the hyena. This highly coordinated clan uses the cover of dusk to begin their nightly patrol. When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct. For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed. Here in the African savanna, the leopard exemplifies the art of the silent ambush. Golden eyes, fixed on the ground below, miss nothing. For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission. The golden hour illuminates the savanna as the pack moves as one unit, coordinated and when darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct.
Moving silently through the tall grass, the lionesses coordinate their movements with lethal precision, while the cubs remain protected behind the vanguard.
For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed.
The golden hour descends on the savanna, and high in the branches the leopard, the master of the silent ambush.
For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission.
As the light fades, the hyena clan moves as one.
When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct.
The bond between a lioness and her cub is paramount. She keeps them close, offering a
For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed. For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission.
Cornered, the herd forms an impenetrable wall of horns. It is a dramatic display of unity, forcing the predators to reconsider their attack.
As the sun dips below the horizon, the hyena pack moves as one. When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct. For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed.
Reaching speeds of up to 70 miles per hour, the cheetah is the ultimate predator of the plains. Perfectly still, the golden eyes track their target. This silent ambush is the key to survival on the savannah.
For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission.
In a dramatic display of unity, the herd forms an impenetrable wall of horns around the vulnerable calves.
As the sun sets on the Serengeti, the hyena pack moves as one. When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct.
The lionesses move as one, a silent, coordinated unit stalking their prey through the golden grass.
For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed.
At full sprint, the cheetah covers vast distances, kicking up dust in its wake across the golden savanna. With eyes like molten gold, the predator surveys the savanna, motionless, waiting for the precise second to launch its ambush.
For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission.
As the sun dips below the horizon, the spotted hyena pack moves as one, a testament to their complex social structure and coordinated hunting strategy.
When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct. For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed. For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission. The Nile crocodile, a master of ambush, waits patiently. Only its eyes break. Driven by the setting sun, the pack moves as one. Their complex communication ensures every member knows its role in the coming hunt. When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct. The bond between a lioness and her cub is paramount. Here, the gentle touch reinforces their lifelong. For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed. With powerful strides, the cheetah closes in on its prey across the golden grassland. Perfectly camouflaged, the leopard holds its breath, its golden eyes fixed on the unsuspecting prey below. For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission. Moving in a coordinated formation across the Golden Plains, the pack utilizes subtle cues to maintain cohesion as the sunset deepens. When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct. For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed. A blur of motion across the Golden Plains, the cheetah can go from 0 to 60 in just 3 seconds. For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission.
As golden hour bathes the savannah, the pack moves with a singular purpose. Their sophisticated teamwork makes them Africa's most efficient predators.
When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct.
Moving almost completely silently through the tall golden grass, the lionesses stalk their prey, while the next generation watches closely from behind.
For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed.
High in the branches, the leopard surveys its kingdom. With golden eyes fixed on the ground below, it embodies the art of the silent ambush.
For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission.
Drifting silently beneath the murky surface, the Nile crocodile is the apex predator of this waterway.
As the sun sets, the hyena pack moves as one unit.
The Stellar's sea eagle, a formidable apex predator, surveys its coastal domain from above.
When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct. For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed. With explosive power, the cheetah launches into a full sprint, a desperate race for survival under the African sun. For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission. When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct.
The lioness provides not just protection, but also essential comfort to her young.
For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed.
The cheetah, the fastest land animal, accelerates across the golden grassland, its powerful legs propelling it forward in pursuit of its prey.
Crouched amongst the branches, the leopard surveys the plains below. This master of the... For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission. This is the moment of truth. The herd must stand united, for the lion.
As the sun dips below the plains, the clan begins its nightly patrol. Their teamwork is crucial for survival in this harsh environment. The bald eagle, a symbol of raw power, surveys its domain from high above.
When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct. With their cubs safely tucked away, the lionesses begin the final approach, masters of stealth. For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed. For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission. These powerful predators rely on complex communication to maintain their tight-knit social structure as they begin their nightly patrol. The golden eagle surveys its domain, a masterful predator in the fading golden light. When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct.
Moving through the tall grass, the pride is almost invisible. The lead lionesses coordinate their approach, a masterpiece of silent hunting behavior.
For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed.
Reaching speeds of up to 70 miles per hour, the cheetah is a marvel of evolution, perfectly adapted for the chase.
High above the savanna, the leopard waits, motionless, every muscle poised for the perfect moment to strike.
For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission.
Under the dramatic colors of the sunset, this pack moves with a singular purpose, showcasing the teamwork crucial for survival on the plains.
When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct.
In the golden hour, the protective lioness shares a tender moment with her young, reinforcing the family bond.
For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed.
Hidden amongst the golden branches, the leopard embodies patience. Every muscle is coiled, waiting for the precise moment to strike.
For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission. Across the Golden Plains, the hyena pack moves as one. This dramatic display of When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct. For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed.
The leopard waits patiently, its golden eyes fixed on the unsuspecting prey below. In this silent ambush, every moment counts.
For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission. The buffalo recognize the threat. They quickly form an impenetrable wall of horns around the vulnerable young. When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct. For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed. For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission. In the dramatic light of the setting sun, the hyena pack demonstrates remarkable cooperation, communicating through subtle cues as they scan the plains.
The bald eagle, an apex predator, scans the horizon with unparalleled vision during the golden hour.
When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct. For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed. In a blur of motion, the predator closes the gap on its unsuspecting prey. For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission. The buffalo form an impenetrable wall of horns, a fortress against the approaching pride. When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct.
The pride moves as one, a silent, coordinated unit. The lionesses lead the way, muscles taut.
For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed.
A desperate sprint across the plains. The cheetah must rely on its explosive speed to secure its next meal before overheating.
For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission. Faced with the apex predator, the herd instinctively forms a tight defensive circle, shielding the vulnerable calves within. The Nile crocodile, the apex predator of these waters, waits with infinite patience. As the sun dips below the horizon, the pack begins its nightly patrol, a display of remarkable coordination.
The Philippine eagle, among the largest and most powerful birds of prey, surveys its dense jungle kingdom.
When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct. For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed.
Reaching incredible speeds, the cheetah sprints across the golden grassland, a blur of muscle and determination in pursuit of its next meal. Crouched silently among the acacia, the leopard waits. Its golden eyes, perfectly adapted to the fading light, are fixed on its target below.
For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission.
The Nile crocodile is the apex predator of these waters, capable of waiting for hours, even days, for the perfect moment to strike.
As the light fades, the pack moves with a singular purpose, demonstrating the complex bonds that hold the clan together. When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct.
Moving with silent, practiced precision, the lionesses coordinate their advance. Behind them, the cubs are kept protected deep within the grass.
For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed. For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission. Under the dramatic African sky, the pack moves as one unit, a testament to their sophisticated teamwork and communication. When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct. For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed. Perched high above the savannah, the leopard waits. This silent ambush is a strategy honed over millennia. For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission.
Across the golden plains of the Serengeti, a cohesive unit of hyenas moves with purpose, demonstrating the complex social bonds that define the clan. The bald eagle, a symbol of raw power, surveys its domain from high above.
When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct.
The lioness provides not just protection, but also tenderness in the harsh savanna.
The pride moves as one, a synchronized unit of stealth. Every step is measured, every movement silent as they close in on their prey.
For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed. For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission.
As the light fades over the savannah, the pack moves with a singular purpose, their communication subtle yet vital to their success as a team. When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct.
For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed. For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission. Across the golden plains of the Serengeti, a clan of spotted hyenas is on the move. When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct. Under the cloak of the golden hour, the lionesses stalk their prey. Every movement is silent. For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed. The cheetah, the fastest land animal, reaches incredible speeds in pursuit of its prey across the golden savanna. Concealed by the golden light, she watches intently. Below, unsuspecting prey wanders closer, unaware of the danger above. For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission.
As the sun dips below the horizon, the spotted hyena pack begins its nightly patrol.
With eyes sharper than any other raptor, the harpy eagle scans the canopy for unsuspecting prey. When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct. In the golden hour of the savanna, the lionesses move with silent precision, a coordinated effort to secure their next meal. For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed. With its sights locked on its prey, the cheetah unleashes a burst of incredible speed across the golden savanna. Hidden among the acacia branches, the leopard embodies patience. This silent ambush is a strategy perfected over millennia. For a mother elephant, protecting the next generation is the greatest mission. The spotted hyena, often misunderstood, relies on complex teamwork to navigate the vast plains at dusk. When darkness arrives, another Africa awakens. Before the first footsteps cross the African plains, the wilderness is already awake. Every predator begins its journey with patience, awareness, and instinct.
Here in the golden hour, the lionesses coordinate their movements with silent precision, keeping the cubs protected as they stalk their prey. For the cheetah, survival is measured in moments of speed. Before the first light reaches the African plains, a battle for survival is already beginning. For the resident pride, this territory is more than land. It is a hunting ground, a shelter, and the only place where their young can survive. The roar of a dominant male is not only a warning, it is a declaration that every creature in this valley can hear. In the wild, many battles are decided before the first strike. Strength, confidence, and experience determine who controls the future. For the youngest members of the pride, this confrontation carries the greatest danger. A change in leadership can change everything. The old ruler knows that surrender is not an option. His pride depends on his ability to defend this land. For generations, these echoes have marked the rise and fall of Africa's greatest predators. Unlike solitary hunters, these males have something more powerful than size. They have cooperation. While the males fight for territory, the females carry the responsibility of protecting the next generation. This battle is not just between lions. It is part of a larger struggle that shapes the entire ecosystem. Every day after survival, the pride must remind its neighbors that this land still belongs to them. Across the savannah, invisible messages decide where predators can move and where they cannot. After every battle, the pride returns to the same challenge, surviving another day in a land where nothing is guaranteed. This valley is a world of constant movement, where every species has its own strategy for survival. But even the most powerful predators must respect animals that fight together. The African buffalo is one of the few animals capable of standing against the greatest hunters of the plains. As the dry season intensifies, every journey toward water becomes a dangerous test. For young animals, survival depends on the strength of the group around them. But while some predators depend on numbers, others rely on silence. The leopard does not need a battlefield. It waits for a single perfect opportunity. Unlike the lions that announce their power, the leopard survives through patience, precision, and silence. Every movement is calculated. One mistake can mean losing the only opportunity to feed. The leopard does not chase its prey across open ground. It waits until the distance disappears. A successful hunt begins long before the first movement. It begins with patience. In the wilderness, the difference between survival and starvation can be measured in seconds. Failure is common in nature. Even the greatest hunters must try again. This landscape belongs to many hunters, each one following a different path to survive. When darkness covers the savannah, another powerful predator begins its search. Hyenas are not simply scavengers. They are intelligent hunters with one of the strongest social systems in Africa. Their greatest weapon is not strength alone, but cooperation. In the harsh, dry season, every scent can lead to a chance for survival. Across Africa, lions and hyenas have competed for thousands of generations. Every encounter between these rivals is a battle of confidence, numbers, and experience. The borders between predator territories are constantly changing. Where the land becomes water,
another world of survival begins. The Nile crocodile has survived for millions of years by mastering patience. Below the calm surface hides one of Africa's most ancient predators. Every visit to the river brings opportunity, but also danger. For young animals, survival depends on the protection of those around them. The elephants of Africa are survivors of a world that has changed for millions of years. But not all hunters rely on strength. Some rely on teamwork and endurance. African wild dogs are among the most efficient hunters on the continent.
Their success comes from cooperation, communication, and trust within the pack. Unlike solitary predators, the pack becomes a single hunting force.
Speed, teamwork, and endurance allow them to chase prey until exhaustion takes over. For wild dogs, survival is not about the strongest individual. It is about the strength of the family. Every species has its own strategy, but all are connected by the same fragile environment. In Africa, every creature plays a role in the endless cycle of survival.
As darkness returns, the battle for survival continues. Tomorrow, another story will begin on these ancient lands.
After surviving the night, the pride faces a new challenge. In the African wilderness, every morning is another test of survival. A king's greatest responsibility is not victory. It is protecting everything that depends on him. As the dry season becomes stronger, water becomes the center of every struggle. For a young cub, even a simple journey across the savannah can become a dangerous adventure. During the dry season, every animal arrives at the same place, and every animal brings a different risk. The buffalo survive because they understand one important rule: there is strength in numbers. Some creatures do not escape danger. They face it. For the lions, every opportunity requires patience and perfect timing. The most successful hunters are not always the strongest. They are the ones who know when to wait. Around the water, the invisible borders of Africa's predators become clear. When darkness arrives, the balance of power begins to shift. Hyenas survive because every member understands its role. A hyena clan is not a kraut. It is a complex society built for survival. Between these ancient rivals, every encounter is a calculation. Sometimes survival is not about fighting. Sometimes it is about knowing when to retreat. Beyond every battle is a much larger world, connected by movement and migration. For prey animals, survival begins with awareness. The youngest members of every herd learn the dangers of the plains from their first steps. Not every predator rules through strength. Some depend on incredible speed. The cheetah's greatest weapon is not power. It is precision. For the fastest animal on land, every chase must be perfectly timed. In only a few seconds, the cheetah reveals one of nature's most remarkable designs. But speed comes with a cost. Every failed chase drains precious energy. For a cheetah, survival depends on choosing the right moment, not chasing every opportunity. Every predator has evolved a different strategy to survive in this competitive world. While lions depend on power and cheetahs depend on speed, wild dogs depend on unity. For wild dogs, family is the foundation of survival. Their journey is not only about hunting, it is about protecting the next generation. Every successful hunt begins with cooperation. The pack moves as one, turning teamwork into their greatest weapon. After every challenge, the pack returns to what matters most: survival together. But beyond the grasslands, another battle unfolds along Africa's rivers. The hippopotamus may appear peaceful, but it is one of Africa's most territorial animals. Beneath the calm surface lies a powerful animal built for dominance. In the river, territory is defended just as fiercely as on land. Every creature living here must understand the danger around it. The river connects every part of this ecosystem.
For elephants, survival is passed from one generation to the next through memory and protection.
Every species in this wilderness is connected by the same struggle. When the sun disappears, Africa's hidden battles continue. The darkness belongs to those who know how to use it. Every sound in the darkness tells another story of survival. For the cubs, every night survived is another step toward adulthood. Another day begins, and the endless struggle of the African wilderness continues. Beyond this valley, countless other worlds exist, each with its own stories of survival. In the heart of Zambia lies another wilderness shaped by water, drought, and endless competition. Here, the giants of Africa must navigate a changing world. Their survival depends on knowledge passed through generations. Where water remains, life gathers. But where life gathers, competition follows. The next chapter will reveal the battles hidden within Africa's richest wilderness. Kafue is one of Africa's greatest wilderness areas, a land where water decides who survives and who struggles. This river is the heartbeat of the wilderness, connecting every creature that depends on it.
For elephants, survival begins with knowledge passed down through generations.
The oldest elephants carry memories of places where water can still be found. When the rivers disappear, elephants must search beneath the surface for hidden sources of life. The buffalo is one of the most dangerous animals in Africa, a symbol of strength and resistance. Against powerful predators, the buffalo's greatest weapon is unity. The lions of Kafue must choose every battle carefully.
Even the strongest predators must conserve energy in a harsh environment.
For lionesses, success depends on teamwork and timing. Every hunt is a calculation between distance, speed, and opportunity.
For prey animals, survival begins with recognizing danger before it arrives.
On the open plains, a few seconds can separate life from death. Failure is part of life in the wild. Even skilled hunters often return empty-handed.
After every challenge, the pride returns to the same goal: protecting the next generation.
Where land meets water, another struggle for survival begins.
Hidden beneath the surface, patience becomes the ultimate weapon.
Every visit to the river carries a risk.
For herbivores, finding water is necessary, but reaching it safely is another challenge.
This wetland is a world where every species follows the rhythm of water.
The hippopotamus may spend most of its life in water, but it controls a territory as fiercely as any predator.
Behind their calm appearance is an animal built for dominance. In the river, territory is defended with incredible power.
Every river creates its own kingdom, and every kingdom has its rulers.
Far from the rivers, another family of hunters begins its journey. Few predators can match their endurance and teamwork. Their strength comes from never giving up. In a world where many predators compete alone, wild dogs survive by staying together. This wilderness survives because different worlds exist side by side. Every call across the darkness is a message understood by the entire wilderness. Even the giants of Africa continue their journey after sunset. Another morning arrives, bringing another chapter of survival. Across Africa, every region tells a different story of adaptation. Beyond the open plains lies a hidden world of forests and shadows. Here, survival depends on navigating a completely different environment. From rivers to forests, every corner of Africa holds a different battle. In this hidden world, the leopard becomes almost invisible. For every hunter, there is a survivor constantly searching for danger. When darkness arrives, the forest belongs to those who can move silently. Every trail tells a story of survival, written across the land. Among these trees, the giants of Africa must adapt to a changing landscape. For young elephants, every lesson learned from the herd increases their chance of survival. Their survival depends on a memory built over decades. Even the largest animals must constantly adapt to the challenges of their environment. Farther east, another wilderness reveals a different battle for survival. The river offers protection from the heat, but it also creates competition. The buffalo is built for survival in one of Earth's toughest environments. Hyenas possess intelligence and teamwork that make them formidable competitors. Their survival depends on cooperation within the clan. The leopard continues its lonely journey through a world of giants. This vast wilderness contains countless stories happening at the same time. Among the shadows lives one of Africa's most ancient survivors. For rhinos, protecting the next generation is the greatest responsibility. The silent hunters continue moving through the shadows. Africa's wilderness is not one story. It is millions of stories unfolding at the same time. Across Africa, the story of survival continues in landscapes where millions of lives are connected by the rhythm of nature. Here, survival is not only about strength, it is about movement. For countless generations, these animals have followed the same invisible roads written into their instincts. For the youngest members of the migration, the journey begins with a fight for survival from the very first moments. Where prey moves, predators are never far away. The arrival of thousands of animals creates new opportunities for Africa's greatest hunters. For lionesses, success depends on patience, teamwork, and perfect timing. The distance between hunter and prey is measured not only in meters, but in moments. Every movement must remain hidden until the final second. This endless cycle has shaped Africa's ecosystems for millions of years. But not every predator rules through teamwork. Some survive alone. The cheetah sees the world differently. Every movement is calculated around speed. A successful hunt begins with getting close enough for speed to matter. For a few seconds, evolution creates one of nature's most incredible displays of speed. But speed comes with a price. The fastest hunter must also recover quickly. While the cheetah dominates open ground, the leopard controls another world. The trees provide safety, observation, and protection from competitors. Across the plains, another powerful society begins its nightly search. Hyenas survive because every individual contributes to the group. The darkness belongs to many hunters, and competition never stops. Their strength comes from trust built within the pack. Among Africa's predators, cooperation can be more powerful than size. Few predators can match their ability to chase for long distances. Where millions travel, countless battles follow. The journey across Africa's plains eventually leads to one of nature's greatest challenges. Below the surface, ancient hunters wait for opportunity. For the migrating animals, the river is both a path forward and a dangerous obstacle. Every crossing requires courage. Few moments in nature reveal the struggle for survival so clearly. The survivors continue because stopping is not an option. While millions migrate, The giants of Africa follow their own ancient paths. For elephants, survival is a family journey. Experience becomes the most valuable resource during difficult seasons. Above the grasslands, another world survives among the trees. Every feature of these animals tells a story of adaptation. Some survivors have remained almost unchanged for millions of years. For these ancient giants, every new generation is precious. Every creature contributes to the balance of this enormous living system. As the day ends, Africa's ancient cycle continues. But beneath the endless sky, another chapter of survival is already beginning. When the rains disappear, the African plains transform into a battlefield where every drop of water becomes priceless. The dry season does not arrive suddenly. It slowly tests every creature that depends on this land. For elephants, survival means traveling farther and remembering places that still hold life. The oldest members of the herd carry memories that can save hundreds of lives. When water becomes scarce, every animal must share the same fragile refuge. But every gathering place also attracts those who hunt. The hunters understand that patience can be more powerful than speed. Against the lion's strength, the buffalo answers with courage and unity. In the wilderness, sometimes survival belongs not to the strongest, but to the one that refuses to surrender. Not every battle ends with a victory. Sometimes survival itself is the reward. When one hunter leaves, another begins its search. The night belongs to predators that can find opportunities others miss. A clan survives because every member understands its role. Even under darkness, the competition for survival never stops. Every footprint left behind tells the story of another struggle. The ground itself becomes a record of life and death across the plains. For the cheetah, the dry season creates both challenges and opportunities. The fastest hunter must carefully choose when to spend its energy. For a cheetah, one perfect decision can mean the difference between feeding and going hungry. For a few seconds, the cheetah becomes pure speed. But every burst of speed leaves the cheetah vulnerable. In Africa, even success can attract competition. Sometimes survival means knowing when to leave. Each predator has evolved a different path through the same harsh world. Where the cheetah depends on speed, the leopard depends on secrecy. The trees provide a fortress where the leopard can escape stronger rivals. Above the ground, the leopard sees a world of possibilities. While others hunt alone, wild dogs survive through cooperation.
Their greatest weapon is the bond between every member of the pack. Together, they transform endurance into a powerful hunting strategy. For wild dogs, every journey is about protecting the future of the pack. As the dry season continues, water becomes the center of every story. For the crocodile, patience has always been the key to survival. Beneath the surface, a hidden world waits. Even the giants must respect the dangers hidden beneath the water. The river connects every creature that depends on it. In this harsh season, every surviving moment is a victory. But when the sun disappears, another world awakens. The struggle continues because the wilderness never truly sleeps. The dry season has reached its most difficult stage. Every creature now faces the ultimate challenge of survival. For the giants of Africa, survival requires strength, memory, and endurance. The oldest female carries knowledge that could determine whether the entire herd survives. For the youngest elephants, every journey is a lesson in survival. When the surface disappears, elephants rely on instincts built through generations. A simple discovery beneath the earth can become a lifeline for hundreds of animals. One family's knowledge creates hope for an entire community. But every gathering place attracts both the vulnerable and the dangerous. For lions, controlling territory means controlling access to survival. The hunt begins with observation long before the chase. But some prey animals are powerful enough to challenge the hunters. The buffalo carries a reputation earned through countless battles. The herd survives because every individual understands its role. In nature, a single decision can change the outcome of a confrontation. This moment is not just a battle between two species. It is part of a larger balance. Sometimes survival belongs to those who know when to wait. As one predator leaves, another begins its search. Hyenas have survived because they understand opportunity better than almost any predator. Their strength comes from cooperation, communication, and experience. When darkness covers the land, the struggle for survival continues in silence. The night reveals hunters that depend on patience rather than power. For the leopard, every step is calculated. From above, the leopard watches a world filled with endless opportunities. As another day begins, every predator returns to the same challenge. For wild dogs, survival depends on the power of the group. The future of the pack depends on protecting those who cannot protect themselves.
Their journey across Africa is powered by cooperation. Before every chase comes a moment of decision. The pack succeeds because it never gives up. For these hunters, survival is always a shared responsibility. Across Africa, every habitat creates a different challenge. The crocodile has mastered the art of waiting. Here, survival follows the rhythm of the river. Beneath the surface, patience becomes power. Even the largest animals must respect hidden dangers. The river connects every creature that depends on this land. A single ecosystem can contain thousands of stories.
Even the smallest lives play a role in maintaining balance.
The African wilderness survives because every creature is connected. And tomorrow, the endless struggle between survival and nature will begin again. Every sunrise in Africa marks the beginning of another struggle, another journey, and another chance to survive. The elephants continue their ancient path, carrying memories that have guided generations before them. In the wilderness, information is survival. Every scent, sound, and footprint tells a story. Even the smallest creatures benefit from the movements of the largest. For thousands of years, elephants have been architects of the African wilderness. But hidden among the vegetation are survivors facing a different kind of challenge. The rhinoceros has survived millions of years through strength and caution. Every step of this ancient animal represents a connection to a much older world. For a mother rhinoceros, protecting the next generation is the greatest responsibility. The lessons of survival begin with every step beside a parent. Across Africa, every species depends on the balance created by others. High above the plains, giraffes survive in a world few animals can reach. Their extraordinary bodies are perfectly designed for life among the tallest trees. The giraffe moves through the savannah like a living symbol of adaptation. Even peaceful giants must always remain aware of danger. The plains belong to countless travelers, following the rhythm of nature. For young animals, the herd is the first and most important protection. The hunters are always watching, waiting for the right moment. A successful hunt begins with patience, long before action. Every movement creates a reaction in the endless game between hunter and hunted. On the open plains, survival depends on speed, awareness, and instinct. For prey animals, surviving one encounter does not mean the danger has disappeared. The pride rests, but the struggle continues. Africa is not one wilderness. It is a collection of countless worlds connected together. The skies above the plains are also filled with stories of survival. From above, predators see a world hidden from those on the ground. Precision and patience rule the skies as much as they rule the plains. Beneath the giants exists another hidden world of survival. Even the smallest creatures help maintain the balance of this enormous ecosystem. As evening arrives, every species prepares for another night of survival. The pride returns home, carrying another day of survival behind them. The night belongs to those who know how to disappear. Ancient hunters continue waiting in the darkness. But when lions rest, other hunters begin their journey. Even the giants need moments of rest. The wilderness never stops moving, even when the world appears silent. With every sunrise, the ancient cycle begins again. Across this continent, survival has created some of the most extraordinary stories on Earth. This is the wild heart of Africa, where every life is connected and every day is a battle to continue. Across Africa, survival is shaped by the endless relationship between predators, prey, and the land they share. For a male lion, leadership is never permanent. Every day brings a new challenge. A territory is more than land. It is the foundation of an entire pride's future. Every sound across the plains carries a message. The battle for control often begins long before the first confrontation. In the wild, confidence can be as powerful as physical strength. For the pride, the outcome of this moment could change everything. Not every battle is decided by a fight. Sometimes survival is determined by judgment. For now, the pride remains united. But across the plains, another powerful struggle is unfolding. The buffalo survives not because it avoids danger, but because it faces it. Some individuals become symbols of strength within the herd. The journey to water creates opportunities for hunters. The lions know that attacking a buffalo requires perfect timing. The herd transforms from individuals into one powerful force. Few animals command the respect that the African buffalo does. The plains belong to those that understand when to fight and when to survive another day. The crocodile has survived because it wastes almost no energy. For millions of years, patience has been its greatest weapon. The river belongs to creatures that have mastered life between land and water. The peaceful appearance of a hippo hides incredible power. Every species has found its own way to survive beside the river. The largest animals on land and water meet in the same fragile environment. In the river, territory is defended with the same determination seen on land. When darkness arrives, the river reveals another side of survival. The silent hunters continue moving after the world falls asleep. The night belongs to predators that work together. Every pack survives because every member matters. Another morning arrives, and the ancient struggle continues. Africa's wilderness is a world built on connections. For smaller animals, awareness is their greatest defense. Every creature has a role in this enormous living system.
どんなに小さな命もは、大きなものの生存に影響を与えますね。
From the smallest insect to the largest elephant, every life is connected. The wilderness continues, even when human eyes cannot see it. Every generation begins with a fragile beginning. Protection and memory carry life forward. The story of Africa is a story written through survival.
A world where every heartbeat matters, every journey has meaning, and every life fights to continue.
For the pride, survival is not measured by one victory, but by every day they remain together.
Across this ancient continent, life continues through a delicate balance between strength, intelligence, and adaptation.
Every game is a lesson. Every movement prepares them for the challenges ahead. The young must learn the paths, dangers, and secrets of the land before they can survive alone.
Even moments of rest require awareness.
For solitary hunters, every opportunity must be taken carefully.
The leopard survives by avoiding unnecessary battles.
As night arrives, new hunters begin their search. The strength of the hyena comes from cooperation and intelligence.
Their territory overlaps with some of Africa's most powerful hunters.
A new day begins after another successful night of survival. Every scent reveals information about the world around them.
Few animals demonstrate the meaning of family like the African wild dog. Before they become hunters, they must first become members of the pack.
Their success comes from a level of cooperation few predators can match. Together, they transform endurance into power. Their greatest advantage is not speed alone, but their refusal to stop. For these animals, survival belongs to the group.
Every ecosystem tells a different chapter of Africa's endless survival story. Beneath the calm appearance lies incredible power.
Different worlds meet where water remains. Water creates life, but it also creates competition. The most patient hunters often wait where others cannot see.
The river has protected ancient predators for millions of years.
The river belongs to creatures built for strength.
For elephants, water is not only survival, it is also a place of connection.
The journey continues beyond the rivers. Above the plains, another generation continues the ancient search for food. Every young animal begins life as a student of survival. The plains are a place where millions of lives exist together. Every level of this world is connected.
For prey animals, awareness is the first line of defense.
Life continues, even in places almost impossible to notice. From the smallest insect to the largest elephant, every creature has a purpose. The night reveals the hidden rhythm of Africa. The next generation rests beneath the protection of the pride. Memory, protection, and family carry life forward. Even in darkness, Africa continues to breathe. A new chapter begins with the return of the sun. Across Africa, every sunrise reveals a world shaped by millions of years of survival. This land is not controlled by one species. It belongs to a complex web of life. For elephants, survival is built on memory, communication, and family. The giants of Africa carry the knowledge of generations within their movements. Water connects every creature that depends on this ancient land. Hidden beneath the calm surface, ancient hunters continue their timeless existence. The river belongs to creatures that have mastered both land and water. Every species plays a role in maintaining the balance of this fragile world. Beyond the rivers, the endless struggle of the plains continues. The lion remains one of Africa's greatest symbols of strength. Every future hunter begins as a vulnerable young life, learning the rules of survival. The strength of the pride comes from cooperation. Across Africa, power is often found in unity. The next generation survives because the herd stands together. Speed allows the cheetah to survive, but only for moments at a time. The leopard survives by mastering patience and silence. For wild dogs, survival is not about the strongest individual, but the strength of the entire pack. The hyena proves that intelligence can be just as powerful as strength. Every predator and prey species is connected by the same cycle of life. Even the smallest lives help support the greatest giants. The African wilderness is a masterpiece built from countless connections. For millions of years, this land has witnessed the endless rhythm of survival. Movement itself becomes a strategy for survival. Every journey begins with a single step. Where millions travel, opportunities follow. The migration remains one of nature's greatest survival stories. The hunters continue, carrying their story into another generation. When darkness arrives, the hidden world awakens. The silent hunters continue their ancient search. Protection allows the next generation to dream of tomorrow. Memory and family keep the giants alive. Africa is not one world. It is thousands of worlds connected together. Every detail carries millions of years of evolution.
At the water's edge, the entire story of survival can be seen.
The land remembers every journey. This wilderness has survived because every creature has a purpose. The giants continue their journey through a changing world. The gentle giants of the plains remain part of the same endless cycle. Strength protects those who move together. A world where every heartbeat matters. The night closes another chapter, but the story never ends. Tomorrow will bring new challenges and new victories. Water, land, and life remain connected. The future of this kingdom begins with the youngest generation. Every life begins with protection and learning. Some survive through power. Others survive through silence. Together, they prove that cooperation is one of nature's greatest strengths. Ancient survivors continue their timeless journey. This continent remains one of Earth's greatest examples of resilience. Different lives, different strategies, one shared world. The wilderness survives because every creature plays its part. Every gaze carries millions of years of survival. A world beyond imagination continues beneath the African sky. Survival is not only about battles, it is also about balance. For millions of years, this symphony of life has continued. And with every sunrise, the story begins again. The wild kingdom survives because every piece belongs together. Their stories are different, but their journey is the same. This is Africa, a land where life has endured, adapted, and survived for millions of years. The story of the wild is never truly finished. As long as life continues, Africa will keep telling its endless story of survival. Hidden beneath the ancient Maya rainforest lies a world where every creature follows the oldest law of nature: survive.
The jaguar does not simply live in the rainforest. It is one of the forces that shapes this ancient world.
Above the forest floor, survival takes another form. Cooperation becomes the greatest weapon. In the rainforest, survival is not only about what animals can see, but also what they can hear. The rainforest is built by millions of lives, including those too small for us to notice. In this ancient forest, even the smallest creatures carry millions of years of evolution within them. Even the greatest predators are connected to the same rivers and forests that sustain all life. Every branch, every river, and every leaf is home to a different story of survival.
For a predator like the jaguar, success does not come from strength alone. It comes from patience.
In nature, the greatest hunters understand one truth: the perfect moment cannot be forced. While powerful predators rule the forest floor, another world of beauty and survival exists above the trees. For the ancient Maya, this bird represented the spirit of the forest, a symbol of beauty protected by the balance of nature. In this rainforest, every creature is connected, from the smallest insect to the largest predator.
For those who live among the branches, survival depends on movement, intelligence, and the strength of family.
Every survivor begins as a student, learning the rules of a world that never stops changing. Not every survivor wins through speed or strength. Some survive by mastering patience. The rivers of the rainforest are not barriers. They are pathways connecting every form of life. A single stream can become the center of an entire world, where every creature comes to survive. As the sun disappears, another generation of forest survivors begins its journey through the darkness. When the sun disappears, the rainforest does not sleep. It reveals another hidden kingdom waiting to be discovered.
In the darkness of the rainforest, survival often belongs to those who know how to disappear.
Every movement is calculated, because in this ancient forest, energy must never be wasted. In nature, survival is decided in moments, where patience can be more powerful than speed. When darkness arrives, the guardians of the night take control of the forest.
The rainforest never truly sleeps. It simply changes its rhythm with the arrival of darkness.
Every morning brings a new chapter, and every species has its own way of surviving. In the rainforest, every color and every shape has been created by millions of years of adaptation. Survival does not always require size, and sometimes intelligence and cooperation are enough. Every creature in this forest survives by reading the smallest signs of danger. In this ancient forest, predator and prey are connected by a delicate balance. Not every meeting becomes a battle.
Long after civilizations disappear, nature continues writing its own story.
This forest has witnessed thousands of years of change, yet its wild inhabitants continue the same ancient struggle.
For many animals, survival is not a solo journey. It is a responsibility shared by the entire group.
Even the strongest groups must remain alert, because danger can appear from anywhere.
Above the trees, another hunter rules the skies, watching a world that many creatures never see. Above the ancient trees, another ruler watches the forest, a hunter built for precision and patience. In the rainforest, survival is not only a battle on the ground, it is also fought among the highest branches.
Not every survivor needs speed or strength. Some survive by becoming almost invisible.
Every river, every stream, and every hidden pool becomes a lifeline inside this ancient forest.
Even the most powerful hunters must return to the same waters that sustain all life. Beneath the calm surface, ancient hunters continue waiting for the perfect moment.
In nature, the greatest advantage often belongs to the hunter that can wait the longest.
When daylight disappears, another community takes control of the forest.
The darkness does not hide life, it reveals another side of it.
Every dawn brings a new beginning and another chapter in the endless story of survival. When darkness arrives, the rainforest reveals a hidden world that remains invisible during the day.
In the smallest corners of the rainforest, life continues through countless unseen battles. The rainforest survives because every creature, no matter how small, has a purpose.
Another day begins in the ancient forest, and every survivor prepares for another challenge.
The king of the rainforest does not rule through noise, but through awareness, patience, and control. A predator is not separate from its environment. It is part of the balance that keeps the forest alive.
For smaller creatures, every meal is a moment that requires caution. In the rainforest, survival often depends on noticing danger before it arrives. Not every hunter needs size. Some rely on precision and adaptation.
Every layer of the forest has its own hunters and its own rules of survival.
In the wild, survival is often stronger when shared with others. Protection is an instinct written into every generation of survivors.
The rainforest is not a place of endless conflict. It is a place of constant balance. For a hunter, the forest is a map written in scent, sound, and movement. The greatest hunters are not always the fastest. They are the ones that know when to wait. A predator survives not only by hunting, but by understanding every secret hidden inside its territory. For herbivores, survival depends on one simple rule: always remain alert. Long before danger appears, the forest sends its warnings. The rainforest is a world of colors, sounds, and movements that have existed for millions of years.
Every meal creates a connection, and every connection helps maintain the balance of the forest.
Some creatures survive through speed. Others survive through time and patience.
A forest this vast is built not only by giants, but also by millions of tiny workers. When the forest becomes quiet, the most patient hunters begin their search. In the darkness, survival belongs to those who have evolved beyond what others can sense.
Behind every great predator is a world of routine, patience, and constant awareness. In nature, even the strongest predators understand the importance of respect.
Beneath the surface lies another kingdom, one that follows its own ancient rules.
Patience has created some of the most successful hunters on Earth. Even the smallest wings can influence the future of an entire forest. The rainforest survives through countless relationships that remain hidden from the human eye.
Every creature carries a unique solution to the challenges of survival. The rainforest is a balance of countless lives, each one connected to another. From the smallest insect to the greatest predator, every life belongs to the same ancient story. When one world disappears, another begins. The forest's greatest hunters are also part of its greatest mystery. A true kingdom is not defined by one ruler, but by everything that exists within it. Every sunrise renews the ancient promise of survival.
Different lives, different paths, yet all connected by one forest.
This ancient forest is more than a place. It is a living world.
The rainforest survives because every creature has a purpose, and every life is part of the endless story of nature.
The rainforest is not built by its largest inhabitants, but by millions of lives working together.
Even the most delicate creatures carry an important role in the survival of the forest.
The future of the rainforest depends on countless invisible connections. Among the trees, knowledge passes from one generation to the next. Experience is one of nature's greatest advantages. Every river creates a world of its own. In the rivers of the rainforest, cooperation becomes another path to survival. Every predator depends on the balance of the world around it. The forest is not just a collection of trees. It is a home built from countless relationships. When the sun disappears, the night shift of the rainforest begins.
A hidden army takes flight as darkness returns. The smallest creatures create some of the biggest changes.
In darkness, silence itself becomes a weapon. Every creature survives by mastering its own environment.
A kingdom must be protected every single day.
For a predator, every path tells a story. Every scent reveals a message. The jaguar's greatest strength is not only power, it is the ability to disappear.
A rainforest is not one world. It is thousands of worlds existing together.
For many creatures, survival begins with curiosity and cooperation.
Even what falls in the forest becomes part of the cycle of life.
Every hidden corner of the rainforest protects a different form of life. Some survivors succeed through strength, others through adaptability. In the rainforest, the ability to adapt can mean the difference between survival and failure.
Above the forest floor exists another kingdom filled with competition and beauty.
Every feature of every creature has a purpose shaped by time.
The rainforest is controlled not only by animals, but by the forces of nature itself.
Every storm brings destruction, dystrophin, but also renewal. After every challenge, the forest finds a way to begin again. Water creates opportunities, and for many species, it creates the future. The smallest creatures are often the first to rebuild the forest.
Even the greatest predators must adapt when the world around them changes.
For hunters, every footprint is a message waiting to be understood. Nature changes constantly, and every creature learns to change with it. The forest has survived countless storms, and it continues its endless journey. In the rainforest, the story of survival never stops. It only changes voices. When darkness covers the forest, smaller hunters begin their own silent journey. A successful hunter does not chase every opportunity. It waits for the right one. In nature, survival often depends on a single moment of awareness. In the wild, failure is not defeat, it is another lesson in survival. The forest rewards patience, because survival belongs to those who continue.
The night belongs to countless creatures that keep the forest alive.
Some creatures do not simply live in the forest, they help create it. Every morning begins with thousands of small actions that keep the rainforest alive. The canopy is a world of movement, where every branch becomes a pathway. Knowledge passed between generations is one of nature's greatest survival tools.
Strength does not always come from size. Sometimes it comes from unity. Even the smallest armies can shape the world around them. Even the strongest hunters must find moments of rest.
Every journey through the forest is a conversation between life and its surroundings. This ancient forest survives because every creature, every river, and every tree belongs to the same endless story.
Every sunrise reveals another chapter in a world that has survived for millions of years.
Even peaceful moments in the forest require constant awareness. Above the forest floor, speed and cooperation create another path to survival.
In the canopy, every branch becomes a place where life competes and adapts. The rainforest contains worlds within worlds, many hidden beneath our feet.
For creatures this small, every movement can mean survival.
The future of the forest is carried by countless small encounters.
Some of nature's greatest partnerships happen in moments too small to notice.
Every creature carries a solution created by millions of years of evolution.
Survival is not cruelty. It is the endless exchange that keeps nature balanced.
Every action in the forest creates a reaction.
The river brings together species that would rarely meet anywhere else.
movement. Water provides shelter, protection, and life for countless creatures. Another day ends in the ancient forest, but the story of survival continues.
When daylight disappears, the rainforest does not become empty. It becomes another world. For small creatures, every step through the forest requires caution. In nature, patience can become one of the most powerful weapons. Some hunters survive not by chasing, but by waiting. Some creatures are not only survivors, they are builders of the forest itself.
Every generation of trees begins with a journey.
In the rainforest, sound becomes a language that connects entire communities.
Every movement through the canopy is a skill passed through generations. Every river creates a bridge between different worlds.
The forest is not only filled with animals, it is also a kingdom of plants. A single flower can become an entire universe.
The greatest predators understand every corner of their world.
A true hunter knows that timing matters more than speed. Survival is not always about action. Sometimes it is about knowing when not to act.
The forest remembers every creature that passes through it. The first lessons of survival begin at birth. Above the forest, ancient hunters continue their endless search.
Every level of the rainforest has its own rulers.
This is not simply a forest. It is a living planet within our planet.
The rainforest is a masterpiece built by millions of lives working together. Even moments of rest are part of the struggle to survive. For those who live above the ground, movement is the key to survival. Nature creates protection in many forms, even through a living shield. In the forest, one creature's search for food can become another creature's opportunity. Beneath the forest exists another world, shaped by darkness and time.
When one world becomes quiet, another begins its journey.
The smallest habitats often contain the greatest stories. Color can be more than beauty. It can be a message written by evolution.
Every new generation begins with a place to call home.
For many species, survival depends on protecting the next generation.
The greatest predators exist because the entire forest exists. A hunter's greatest weapon is understanding. Most of survival happens in silence.
Every sunset marks a change, not an ending.
The hidden hours reveal creatures that most of the world never sees.
The forest continues growing, even under the cover of darkness. Every drop of water carries a world of its own. Some creatures have survived because they mastered patience. Another day begins, and the ancient forest continues its endless story. Every morning in the rainforest begins with thousands of silent battles for survival. The knowledge of survival is passed from one generation to the next.
Even the simplest actions are part of a much larger survival strategy. Strength is often found in numbers, especially in a dangerous world.
Every sound, every scent, and every mark on the ground tells a story.
The forest is not defined by constant battles, but by delicate balance.
The greatest hunters are shaped by the environments they call home.
Even the smallest signs reveal the presence of the forest's most powerful creatures.
Every creature has a place in the endless map of nature. Where water flows, life follows.
Beneath the surface exists another rainforest, hidden from the world above. For hunters of the river, timing determines everything. Survival is built from thousands of decisions made every day.
The forest provides more than food. It provides entire worlds.
Every creature has mastered its own way of surviving.
The strength of nature is often hidden in places we rarely see.
In nature, opportunities are created by the actions of others.
Even the strongest creatures must find moments of stillness.
Another journey begins inside the endless cycle of survival. A world this vast can never be understood through one creature alone. Every hidden place in the rainforest protects a story waiting to be discovered.
In nature, patience is often the difference between hunger and survival.
Every hunter has evolved a unique method to survive.
In nature, every event becomes part of a greater cycle.
Hidden among the leaves, smaller predators continue their own silent journeys.
The forest is a map written in scent and movement.
A rainforest is built by creatures of every size. Beneath our feet exists a civilization created by instinct. In Africa's wild heart, the most feared predator on land has encountered the one giant he cannot easily defeat. The lion rules the grasslands, but the river belongs to another ancient force. This river is not just water. It is the center of survival for every creature that depends on it. For years, this old warrior has controlled these lands. But every kingdom eventually faces change. A new generation is waiting for its moment to rise. Here, strength alone is not enough. Survival belongs to those who understand their enemy. The guardian of the river has defended this territory for years. Even the oldest hunters of the river recognize when giants collide. Every creature in Luangwa depends on the same fragile resource. For the young, the river means life. For the powerful, it means control. The pride watches, because every decision near the river carries consequences. While the males defend territory, the hunters continue their endless search for food. Every peaceful moment in the wilderness can change in an instant. The next rulers of the plains must first learn the ancient skills of survival. Beneath the water hides a world where the river giants are strongest. The future of the herd depends on the protection of the smallest members. Even kings must approach the river with caution. Two ancient rivals share the same territory, but neither is willing to surrender. Sometimes survival is not about winning, but knowing when to step away.
This is not only a story of two animals. It is the story of an entire kingdom fighting to survive.
The greatest threat to a king does not always come from another species, but from those who want his throne. A new generation is approaching, and the balance of power is beginning to shift. In the wilderness, borders are written through scent, sound, and strength. Every step into another lion's kingdom carries enormous risk. The message has been delivered. A challenge is coming. Experience and power are about to face youth and ambition. Before every battle comes a moment of silence.
A roar is a warning, a challenge, and a declaration of survival.
In nature, wisdom often decides when a battle should be fought. Two kings continue their separate battles in the same fragile kingdom.
While giants fight for territory, silent hunters wait beneath the surface.
Every visit to the river carries hidden danger. The largest creatures of Africa reshape the world simply by arriving. For elephants, survival is built around family. While lions rule through power, another hunter survives through invisibility. The leopard's kingdom exists above the chaos below. Every predator watches another predator. Behind every feared predator is a hidden world of family. The true enemy of every creature is not another animal, but the changing environment. The land itself begins to create a new challenge. The river that once provided unlimited protection is becoming a place of competition. Even among giants, space and resources must be defended. As resources disappear, every decision becomes more dangerous. The rivalry between land and river begins again. In the wild, a single decision can change everything. The strongest survivors are those who understand the limits of power. Two worlds remain connected by the same river, but separated by ancient instincts. When darkness arrives, the rules of survival change again. A king's greatest challenge is not only defeating enemies, but surviving time itself. This river holds the fate of every creature that call this wilderness home. The greatest challenge of the wilderness has arrived. The water is disappearing. A river that once connected every life is now becoming a source of competition. For hunters, the dry season changes everything. When the land becomes silent, predators must work harder to survive. The same water that saves lives also brings danger. For the hunted, every drink may be their last. The river hides dangers that never disappear. When resources shrink, even peaceful gatherings become contests of survival. The river giant must now search beyond the safety of the water. Outside the river, even the strongest animals become vulnerable. For elephants, survival depends on memory and movement. The oldest elephants carry knowledge that can save an entire family. During harsh seasons, the young depend completely on the strength of the herd. The disappearance of water changes the hunting strategies of every predator. From above, the leopard waits for the perfect opportunity. As resources disappear, even scavengers must travel further. Every predator follows the signs left behind by others. Above the battlefield, the cleanup crew waits patiently. The hottest hours become a test of endurance. Even kings must respect the power of the environment. The next generation faces a world far more difficult than before. The river that created their kingdom may now decide their future. The last remaining waters become the most valuable places in the valley. The guardian of the river must now protect what remains. As the river changes, ancient hunters adapt with it. Even giants must learn to share when survival is at stake. The animals wait for relief, but the skies remain silent. The drought is becoming the greatest challenge the valley has faced. Competition increases as the resources of the land disappear. The battle for survival has only just begun. When water becomes rare, every creature is drawn to the same place. The giants arrive, and the balance of the waterhole changes instantly. For elephants, protecting the next generation remains the highest priority. The waterhole has become a meeting point where survival and conflict exist together. The river giant demands space in the world he was born to control. Below the surface, another battle is already taking place. The smallest mistake near the water can become fatal. The king of the plains arrives, and the entire gathering changes. The hunter waits, because patience is often more powerful than speed. Even the greatest predators must know when the moment is not right. Survival is not always about taking action, but understanding timing. The next generation learns that wisdom can be as valuable as strength. For one brief moment, enemies become neighbors, because survival requires cooperation. When darkness arrives, every species returns to its own strategy for survival. The night offers new opportunities, but also new dangers. Every hunter is also being watched by another hunter. While the giants compete openly, the silent hunters continue unseen. The last water source has become the heart of an entire world. Every creature now depends on something beyond its control: the return of the rain. The battle for water has begun, and the fate of every creature now hangs in the balance. The valley is entering its most dangerous moment. The water is disappearing faster than life can adapt. And the hunter must now survive a world where every meal becomes harder to find. Failure is part of survival, but every failed hunt costs valuable energy. The next generation must learn quickly, because the drought gives no second chances. Every journey to water becomes a dangerous gamble. The river giant is losing the world that once gave him power. When the river shrinks, even giants must compete. The fight for survival begins within the herd itself. The hunters of the river must change their strategies as the river changes. Even ancient predators cannot escape the power of a changing environment. The elephants have traveled for days, following memories passed through generations. Leadership means protecting others before yourself. When the surface disappears, the elephants search beneath it. One species' survival skill becomes another species' opportunity. At the last remaining waters, every arrival changes the balance. The predators return when opportunity appears. The drought has changed the rules of the hunt. Awareness remains the greatest defense of the hunted.
In harsh times, knowing when to stop can be the difference between life and death. The pride survives because even rivals must depend on each other.
The entire valley now depends on one fragile place. The old rivalry returns because the need for water cannot be ignored. The guardian of the river fights for the last piece of his kingdom.
The lion understands that some battles are not worth fighting.
The drought has created an enemy greater than any predator. Survival depends on finding protection when nature becomes overwhelming.
The storm passed, but the struggle remains.
Every survivor must adapt to a world that changes overnight. The river giants return to defend what remains. The drought is testing every limit of endurance.
The valley has reached its breaking point. Every creature is fighting against exhaustion.
The drought tests not only bodies, but also the balance of power. A new era is approaching, but survival still belongs to the strongest. The greatest warriors eventually become witnesses to change.
The pride must reach water before the heat takes its toll.
At the last water, every arrival changes the fragile balance.
The ancient rivals meet again, but this time the drought has changed everything. In the wild, survival often belongs to those who understand restraint.
The river giants are powerful, but even they cannot escape the drought.
A single discovery beneath the earth can save hundreds of lives. The actions of giants create opportunities for the smallest creatures. Every change in the river creates a new advantage for another survivor. When the world becomes dangerous, some hunters wait for the cover of darkness.
The night belongs to survivors that know how to adapt.
After months of suffering, the first signs of change finally appear. Animals can sense what humans cannot, the arrival of transformation.
After the longest struggle, the wilderness receives a second chance. The land begins to heal, but the story is not over. The river returns, but every survivor has been changed by the journey.
The battle for water has ended, but the eternal struggle of the wild continues. The rain has returned, but the valley remembers the struggle that came before.
The river giants reclaim the world they almost lost. The survivors of the drought carry the memory of hardship.
Abundance returns, but survival has changed the way every creature behaves.
The old king survived the hardest season, but time continues its own battle.
The drought did not only change the land, it changed the balance of power. The final chapter of one king's reign may be approaching.
Even after the hardest seasons, new life continues.
The landscape has changed, but ancient memories remain.
For the youngest elephants, the world is being discovered for the first time. The survivors return to a world transformed by rain. The return of prey means the return of the hunters. Every generation must learn the skills that kept their ancestors alive. The silent hunters return to a richer but more competitive world. From above, the leopard watches a kingdom rebuilt by rain. The survivors of the drought now begin rebuilding their future. For pack hunters, knowledge is the greatest inheritance. The opportunists of the wilderness also benefit from renewal. The cleaners of nature return to their important role. The smallest lives reveal that the valley is truly healing.
The return of water brings the return of generations.
Beneath the surface, another world begins again.
The ancient hunters return to their true environment. A healthy river creates a healthy wilderness. The valley survived its greatest challenge, but a new era is beginning. The drought revealed a truth every ruler must face. Nothing lasts forever. The next generation has inherited a kingdom shaped by struggle.
The pride continues, but the story is changing.
The river giants survived because they adapted. Their battle was never about victory. It was about survival. The drought ended, but another battle continues inside every living creature, the battle against time. The old king still controls the land, but a new generation is waiting.
Hard seasons create stronger survivors.
A new challenge arrives from beyond the borders of his kingdom. Every kingdom eventually attracts those who seek to claim it. The final challenge of a ruler begins with a single roar.
In the wild, every battle begins with a decision.
Youth brings power, but experience brings wisdom. The old warrior has survived drought, rivals, and countless seasons. Not every victory is decided by strength. Sometimes survival belongs to those who know their limits. The king remains, but the future is already taking shape. A ruler's greatest legacy is not the land he controls, but the lives he protects.
While the lions face changes on land, the river creates its own new generation.
The river remains peaceful, but danger is always close.
The return of water restores ancient paths across the valley.
Every generation must learn the skills needed to survive.
The valley has recovered, but every survivor carries the memory of the drought.
Two ancient rivals now represent the same truth. Adaptation is the key to survival. The stories of the valley never end. They only transform. The battle between lion and hippo was only one moment in a much greater story, the eternal struggle of life itself. After the hardest season, a new generation begins its journey. Every future hunter begins as a student of the wilderness. Play is the first lesson in strength, coordination, and survival. Before they learn to hunt, they must learn to survive. Knowledge is passed from one generation to the next through observation.
The voices of future kings begin to emerge.
A true ruler understands that the future cannot be stopped. In the river, survival begins with learning the currents of life. The youngest members of the herd carry the future of the river. Even in peaceful waters, danger is always present. For elephants, every journey is a lesson written by experience. Childhood in the wild is a balance between curiosity and protection.
Small skills become essential tools for survival.
Every species prepares its young for the challenges ahead. For prey, awareness is the first weapon. The next generation of hunters must master a world above the ground. Every movement must be perfected before survival depends on it. For wild dogs, teamwork is inherited from the beginning.
A pack survives because every member understands their role.
Even the most feared predators begin their lives vulnerable. Across the valley, new lives are preparing for their first challenges.
The foundation of the wilderness begins with the smallest survivors.
A new generation rises across every corner of Luangwa.
The future of the wilderness belongs to those who learn, adapt, and endure. The old battles shaped this world, but the next generation will decide what comes next.
The first step away from protection is the beginning of true survival.
Before they become hunters, they must first learn to read the language of the wilderness. Patience is the first lesson every predator must master. The skills of survival are learned through practice, not instinct alone.
Failure is another teacher in the harsh classroom of nature.
Protection and guidance shape the next generation. Curiosity brings discovery, but it can also create danger. The herd survives because no member is ever truly alone. Every challenge strengthens the bonds that hold the family together. The river's youngest giants must learn the dangers hidden beneath the surface. Even among their own kind, young animals must understand boundaries. For solitary hunters, independence begins earlier than most. Every movement must become precise before survival depends on it. The greatest hunters learn by watching before they act. For wild dogs, the pack is the first and greatest teacher. Games among the young prepare them for the serious world ahead. The first encounters with danger reveal true survival instincts.
Strength does not always come from size, but from unity.
For prey animals, speed and awareness are inherited skills. The sky opens for those brave enough to leave the nest. The smallest lives rebuild the foundation of the entire ecosystem. Every species follows a different path, but all share the same goal: survival.
The future of Luangwa is being shaped today.
The students of survival are slowly becoming the guardians of tomorrow.
A new era is beginning. The future belongs to those who have learned from the past. The sons of the old kingdom must now discover whether they have the strength to create their own. Leaving home is the first true test of every future ruler.
Every new land carries the presence of those who came before.
The smartest hunters know when to observe before they challenge. A new arrival can change the balance of an entire kingdom. A roar is the first step toward claiming a future.
Every kingdom protects what it has built. Survival belongs not only to the strongest, but to those who understand timing. Every failure becomes another lesson on the path to becoming a king.
Before controlling a kingdom, they must first learn to survive within it. Strength increases when instinct becomes teamwork. Every action creates consequences throughout the wilderness. A meal earned through effort can still be challenged by others.
The first victories of young kings are measured in survival.
A true kingdom requires more than one successful moment.
The next guardians of the river must learn the ancient rules of the water. Respect is learned long before power is gained.
The future defenders of the river begin preparing early. The next generation inherits paths created thousands of years ago. Knowledge is the greatest treasure carried by elephants. The next generation of hunters is built through patience and precision. The greatest advantage of a predator is knowing when not to act. A new generation becomes part of something larger than itself. Across the valley, the same lesson is being learned. Survival must be earned. The students of yesterday are becoming the rulers of tomorrow. Every kingdom eventually reaches the moment when the old ruler must face change. The greatest warriors are not defeated by enemies, but by time itself. The next generation begins writing its own story. Every new ruler must prove that the land belongs to them. In the wilderness, patience often decides the outcome before strength is tested. A kingdom is won through confidence, strategy, and survival.
Not every battle is fought with claws. Some are won through presence alone.
Each challenge shapes the leaders they will become. The legacy of a king lives through those who follow. The places where battles were fought become memories of survival. Two legends of the valley have survived the same storms, droughts, and seasons. Even the strongest guardians eventually prepare the next generation. The river's future defenders are beginning to emerge. Among elephants, leadership is built through memory and experience. Independence begins with small steps away from protection. The solitary hunters must build their future without a permanent family. Lessons from childhood become survival tools in adulthood. For social hunters, strength comes from the growth of the entire group. The moment arrives when students finally become hunters.
Across Luangwa, a quiet transformation is taking place.
The old king's greatest achievement was not ruling forever, but creating a future.
The view remains the same, but the rulers have changed.
The river continues without choosing sides. Every generation leaves something behind for the next. The kingdom has changed hands, but the eternal story of survival continues.
The new rulers have arrived, but holding a kingdom is harder than claiming one.
Every kingdom requires constant protection. A ruler's presence changes the behavior of everything around him. No territory remains peaceful forever. The first warning signs appear before the battle begins. The language of lions is written through sound before strength is tested.
The new kings must defend the world they inherited.
In nature, the strongest battles are often decided without a single strike. Energy is precious, and every fight carries a cost. A kingdom survives when its leaders understand the balance between courage and caution. The next generation begins again, continuing the endless cycle.
Protection becomes the first challenge of every new life. The role of a king is not only power, but responsibility.
Every giant influences the world around it. The actions of one species create opportunities for many others. The river continues changing, and its guardians must change with it. The next generation of river guardians prepares for the future. The return of abundance creates new opportunities for ancient hunters. Every new generation creates opportunities and challenges for predators. The silent hunters continue watching the changing world below. A healthier ecosystem allows forgotten paths to reopen. The future of the pack depends on cooperation. Opportunity appears wherever life gathers.
Balance is never permanent. Nature is always adjusting. The kingdom has changed hands, but the struggle to preserve it has only begun.
A thriving wilderness creates a new challenge. More life means more competition. A kingdom must be defended every day, because power is never permanent. A single footprint can announce the arrival of a new threat.
The search for enemies begins before they are ever seen.
Successful rulers understand that unity is their greatest weapon. Sometimes the greatest threats remain hidden until the perfect moment arrives. Protecting the future requires constant awareness. For every predator kingdom, the survival of the young is the greatest responsibility. The return of life creates new opportunities for every species. The giants of Africa shape the world around them. In nature, every action creates a chain of consequences. For the patient hunter, every change creates new possibilities. The return of abundance also awakens ancient instincts. A growing pack requires more space and more resources. Cooperation allows them to challenge even larger predators. Competition exists not only between hunters and prey, but between hunters themselves. Every creature has a role in the endless cycle of survival. The river remains the heartbeat of the entire valley. Even ancient hunters must raise the next generation. The future of the river is growing stronger with every season. The next generation must eventually find its own place. Sometimes survival means knowing when to search for a new path.
After conflict and change, life always seeks balance again.
The rulers of tomorrow must protect a world that is always changing.
The balance of nature is never finished. It is rewritten every single day.
The wilderness never stays the same. Every victory is followed by another challenge. The new rulers must face the same forces that tested those before them. The river that created this kingdom is changing once again. The guardians of the river must adapt before the water disappears. The next generation inherits not only territory, but responsibility. The giants of Africa must once again rely on ancient knowledge. Memory becomes the greatest survival tool in changing landscapes. Scarcity changes the behavior of every creature in the valley. The hunted remember the dangers of the past. True rulers know that survival requires more than strength.
When resources become rare, old rivalries return.
The new kings face their greatest test yet. A kingdom survives only when its defenders stand together. The moment every young ruler must eventually face has arrived. Power is not always measured by action. Sometimes it is measured by confidence. The young kings have passed their first true test. A kingdom is protected not for pride, but for those who depend on it. The future of the pride depends on the safety created today.
Life does not wait for perfect conditions. It adapts. Ancient survivors understand patience better than anyone.
Different worlds remain connected by the same struggle. They now carry the responsibility once carried by another generation. The next chapter of survival is already approaching.
Every creature prepares before nature reveals its next move.
The new kings have survived their first challenge, but the story of this ancient wilderness is far from over. Once again, the wilderness waits for the gift that controls all life: water. From a single drop of rain, an entire world begins again. The giants recognize the return of a familiar rhythm. For the youngest generation, every new season is a discovery. The river returns, bringing life back to every corner of the valley. The guardians of the river reclaim their ancient home. The next generation of river giants is ready. Ancient predators return when their world returns. A healthy river creates thousands of connections.
The rulers who survived the drought now lead in a new world.
The strength of a kingdom is measured by those it protects. Another generation begins the same journey once started by their ancestors.
The lessons of survival are passed forward again.
Above the valley, silent observers continue watching the endless cycle below. Cooperation allows life to recover faster than individuals ever could. Competition remains, but every creature plays a necessary role.
The return of small lives signals the recovery of the entire world.
The foundation of every wilderness begins with the smallest creatures. Every generation becomes part of a story much older than itself.
The valley has survived because every creature adapted. The students of survival have become the guardians of the kingdom. The river giants continue their ancient journey through time.
The giants continue carrying memories from one generation to another. The cycle never stops. Every ending becomes another beginning. The story of lion, hippo, and the wilderness they share is not about victory or defeat. It is about the endless will of life to continue. For millions of years, this valley has witnessed the same endless struggle. Life adapting to change. The rulers of today were once the young survivors of yesterday. The future of the pride begins again with the protection of the smallest lives. Every generation begins with curiosity before facing the challenges of survival.
Some journeys are written into nature itself.
Leadership is carried through memory, experience, and trust. When balance returns, even different worlds can share the same place.
The river continues protecting those who depend on it.
The future of the river grows beneath its surface. Ancient survivors remain patient, waiting through every season. Some hunters rule through strength. Others survive through silence. From above, every movement tells a story.
Survival is stronger when it becomes a shared effort.
The knowledge of survival continues through every generation. Every creature has a place in the endless story of nature. Even those who arrive after the battle are essential to the cycle of life. The smallest creatures support the largest worlds. Water creates life far beyond what the eye can see.
Every creature exists because another part of nature supports it.
The river is more than water. It is the lifeline of an entire world. Balance does not mean the absence of struggle. It means survival continues despite it. The greatest stories of nature are written by countless lives sharing one world. They inherited a kingdom shaped by struggle, and they will leave it for those who come next. When one day ends, another chapter of survival begins. This is the eternal wilderness, a place where every creature fights, adapts, and continues. Every morning in the wilderness is not a beginning, but another chapter in an ancient story. The places of conflict become the memories that shape future generations. Once rivals, they now share the same fragile world. The river giants continue their endless relationship with the water that defines them. Across the valley, every creature remains connected by the same source of life. The knowledge of survival is the greatest inheritance passed through generations. The quiet hunters continue their journey unseen. From above, the endless cycle of life becomes visible. Togetherness remains one of nature's greatest survival strategies. Every generation carries forward the lessons of those before them. Even the most misunderstood creatures are essential to nature's balance.
Nothing is wasted in the wilderness. Every life has a purpose. The foundation of this kingdom begins with the smallest forms of life. Below the surface, another world continues its own ancient story.
Ancient survivors remain unchanged through countless generations.
The wilderness follows a rhythm older than any creature living within it. The strongest protect, because survival is not only about oneself. The river continues carrying stories from one generation to another. The giants leave behind paths that future generations will follow. This valley is not ruled by one species, but created by all of them together. When one world sleeps, another awakens.
The river continues flowing through darkness, carrying the promise of tomorrow.
The future of the wilderness rests beneath the same sky. Every heartbeat, every movement, every breath continues the story of life. The battle between lion and hippo was never the end of the story. It was only one moment in the endless journey of survival. The sun rises again over a valley that has witnessed countless stories of survival. The new rulers carry the memories of every challenge that shaped them. The story of survival begins again with every new generation. Places of conflict eventually become places of renewal. The river remains the silent force connecting every life in this kingdom. The guardians of the river continue their ancient existence. The giants continue passing knowledge from one generation to another. Some creatures survive through strength. Others survive through independence. Cooperation remains one of nature's greatest secrets. Every creature follows its own path, yet all paths remain connected. The future of the wilderness begins with the smallest lives. Every young survivor carries the possibility of tomorrow. The wilderness changes constantly, but its rhythm remains eternal. The strongest kingdoms are built not by domination, but by balance. The river belongs to everyone who depends on it. The giants of Africa carry the history of the land with every step.
They now stand where the old rulers once stood.
Nature's greatest lesson is that nothing remains unchanged forever.
Every storm carries the promise of renewal. Life returns because every part of the ecosystem works together. The eternal cycle continues, connecting hunter and hunted. No single creature owns this land. They all belong to it. While some creatures rest, others begin their journey beneath the stars. The river remembers every battle, every drought, and every survivor. This is not the story of one king or one battle. It is the story of an entire living world. For countless generations, this valley has carried the stories of survival. The river wakes first, bringing life back to every corner of the wilderness. The giants return to the paths their ancestors followed for centuries. The new guardians now carry the responsibility once held by the old rulers.
Every kingdom survives because the next generation is given a chance.
The places that once held conflict can become places of harmony. The river giants continue their ancient role in shaping this world. Beneath the calm surface, ancient instincts continue.
The smallest lives create the foundation for the largest.
Silent hunters continue their journeys, unseen but essential. The future belongs to those who learn together. Every creature has survived because it found its own place in nature's design. From the smallest insects to the greatest predators, all lives are connected.
The wilderness changes constantly, yet its story never ends.
No creature stands alone. Every life is part of something greater. The river has witnessed battles, droughts, and rebirths, yet it continues moving forward.
The new rulers are only temporary guardians of an ancient world.
The giants leave behind memories that will guide generations to come.
The river continues its endless conversation with life. Tomorrow's survivors are already resting beneath the African sky. The wilderness never sleeps completely. It only changes its rhythm. Every ending becomes the beginning of another story. The wilderness does not belong to the strongest. It belongs to those who adapt. The story of lion and hippo was never just about two animals. It was about the survival of an entire world. In the heart of Africa, the struggle continues, the balance remains, and the eternal story of life goes on. Beyond the giants of Africa, another world quietly controls the rhythm of life.
The smallest creatures perform tasks that keep the entire wilderness alive.
A hidden civilization exists beneath every step of the giants. The architects of the wilderness shape the environment itself. Even the smallest homes become important resources for larger creatures. Pollinators quietly create the future of the forest. Without these tiny workers, the valley's plants would struggle to survive. The future forest begins with a single seed traveling through the wilderness. Hidden beneath the surface, another survival story unfolds. Not every survivor needs size. Some rely on patience and adaptation. The voices of the valley announce another day of life. Above and below the water, every hunter has mastered a unique strategy. When water returns, voices hidden for months come alive again. The wetlands become nurseries for countless forms of life. Before becoming giants of the river, all life begins as something fragile. Numbers create protection in a dangerous underwater world. The river is not only home to animals, it is a living system itself. Across the valley, cooperation appears in unexpected forms.
A simple relation